like to say about Lestage's penalty at the end there?
Well, we talk about nothing they say, nothing they do on our football team. That means anything they say to you, anything they do to you cannot result in an action that would get a 15-yard penalty. You know, he's remorseful about it. I know it's, you know, he's been very good about that and trying to, you know, be a disciplined football player, and he just let the emotions get the best of him in that part. And I always say it's a learning lesson. So I hope that this is the last time, and he's, you know, reiterated to me that I think we learn our lesson there. And I think that's as a team. If one guy does it, that means everybody can learn a lesson, a big lesson, because that 15 yards turned out to be a huge, huge deal at the end of the game with 0.2 seconds left on the clock. So, you know, obviously it's not anything he's intending to do. It's just sometimes the emotions get the best of you, and I can understand that better than anybody. So, you know, we'll have his back, but it has to be something we don't ever let happen again to us.
Do you know what he did or what he said?
Well, I think it's just a shove, but that's what the referee saw anyways. That's what he told me. He shoved him. So, you know, that's the referees making that call, and you got to go with what the referees are seeing.
Will you fine him for the play?
Well, I mean, we have a way of dealing with our players, so I think, you know, he's got, you know, a whole bye week to think about it. And again, it's one play. And one play doesn't exactly, you know, make the outcome of the game what it exactly was. You know, everyone will see that and think that, but that wasn't. There's a lot of other plays in this game that could have made that score a little bit differently in our favor. So, you know, I feel it's just as bad as Peo does about this. And, you know, I just, you know, want him to learn, and I want our team to learn. And so if we got to take a step back to learn this lesson. I'm glad it's happening right now in week 5, and maybe it doesn't happen later in the season.
What was your message to your player after the game?
What's that, sorry?
What was your message to your player after
the players after the game? You know, we stick together and we work, and that's what we got to continue to do. I want them to enjoy the bye week too, because that's what's on our schedule right now. So, but when we come back, they better be willing and ready to work, and that's the only way we're going to get better. We got to learn some lessons from this game and continue to grind. We said this is a grind for 9. This isn't a grind is something like you should be proud of by the end of the year. So you don't learn every lesson. You don't make everything happen early in the season. It's about learning and getting better and sticking together. And sometimes through adversity is when you find out who you are and who we are. And that's what we're going to do. So that's as simple as that. I don't know any other way to do it or describe it. You know, but I do know this: we need to learn from our mistakes. We need to learn from good things, and we need to just stick together and keep grinding. And when you do those things, good things tend to happen to you, and you get better, and you're a better team for it.
Sorry, did you see what happened at the end there?
I did not. So apparently someone tried to get into our locker room, and I mean, you're just not going to get into our locker room if you're somebody else on somebody else's team. So I don't know what happened though. I know our team, our guys did not feel very good about someone else trying to step into our locker room after that game. So, you know, but I'll let everything sorted out. I'm sure they got plenty of video on it to see what did transpire. But I mean, I don't think any player around the league needs to go into an opposite locker room right after a game, and let alone that kind of game. So, but you know, I don't know what happened, so I can't really exactly talk on it.
Did Bethel Thompson make any progress this game?
Yeah, I think he did again. I think he did some really good things.
Like?
You know, I think he threw some really nice balls. I think our guys caught the ball. I think we had a drive that started on the 2-yard line that we drove us all the way down the field. I think at the end of the game, you know, there was a couple plays that we got into field goal range, whether that's our back or him making a good decision. So I thought there was plenty of really good things. Now, are there things to learn from? Absolutely. That's everybody on our team. Everyone wants to talk about the starting quarterback. The starting quarterback doesn't make every single play throughout the game. There's 3 phases to our football team. It's not one guy, but is he getting better? And you ask if he's improving? Yeah, I see the improvement. I see the comfortability in the offense and look in his eyes when we call plays and the understanding of everything. That's continuing to grow, and that's what I'm excited about.
You expect Alexander to be ready?
Yeah, he was close this week. We got another bye week to get rest, and the expectation is that Davis is back ready for us to play at home against Toronto.
You were talking about a few plays that, you know, caused the game. There were a few drop passes, unchallenged passes. Is it lack of concentration from the receivers when this happens?
Well, I mean, at times, I mean, that's, you know, everyone will say that. I mean, it's for professional athletes to drop a ball. It's never their intention to do it. So anytime it happens, it's a lack of concentration, or maybe, you know, they didn't see the ball cleanly in there too. So, you know, it's tough to say. But, you know, when the ball touches our hands, I expect all of our receivers to be able to make those plays. But I also expect when players are open, our quarterbacks are hitting them too. So that kind of goes both ways. So there were some plenty of good things, and there were some things that we could be much better at. And that, again, that's why I say it's a 1-point game. Lose it on 0.2 seconds. There's plenty of things in that game to clean up, and that doesn't come down to 0.2 seconds.
All right.